Adderall, the ADHD drug, the amphetamine-like drug, the drug truck drivers will get arrested for, but we can give to little children. That drug was approved with about 4 weeks of studies. OxyContin, the active ingredient oxycodone, has been implicated in tens of thousands of lives. That drug OxyContin was approved after about 6 weeks of study. The drug that was implicated in Gabriel Meyer's death had about 8 weeks of study. And now we have a U.S. Senator saying that we are not moving the approval process for drugs along fast enough.
Well, I remember me before I was lost. The sweetness of the day, how it went away. And I just can't believe what I would be. The demons that I love, and all I give and know.
You're listening to the Prescription Addiction Radio Show, hosted by Larry G.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
You know, my longtime listener knows this radio show got started talking about the opioids, the OxyContin, oxycodone, Vicodins, and the damage and destruction the prescription narcotics were doing to too many people in this country. As the show moved forward, we became more enlightened on what I and many people call the drugging of our children. I heard from a listener here that Ada, good listener, a good friend of ours up in Canada, and the sound is breaking up, the picture's breaking up, the sound is breaking up. And, you know, this is amazing. We have a radio show on a Sunday night on the internet, and it is so overloading the system. And the radio industry, which has got to be the most Neanderthal industry in America right now.
Yeah, I'm not.
Radio
no arguments
is basically dead, except for Tan Talk. Tan Talk has some creative shows. But you got a show on a Sunday night. People are trying to listen to it on the internet from around the country, other countries, and they can't listen to it because the system's overloaded.
Yep. Because we generally have all the lines lit up, and we generally have
what other show has almost
listeners online?
What other show has almost 500 Facebook listeners? A local brokered radio show like this, especially a Sunday night. We're not talking drive time.
Nope.
Hey, you tell me we have a special guest on the phone. Were you able to line that song up?
Yeah, I'm working on it. You know, it was one of those live radio things.
This is radio. I can't.
Hold on.
I can't dance and do a song and dance here until this thing gets lined up. All right, there we go. This is a special song, folks. I want you to listen to it, please. Folks, that's the background music for a website called Tyler-K.com. Tyler, Tyler-K.com. We have Tyler's father on the line. Walter, are you with us?
Yes.
Why that song, Walter?
When we were going, sorry, you kind of touched me up.
I knew, I thought that was going to surprise you.
While we were going through the grieving process, a really good friend of Tyler's grandfather sent him that in an email, and it was just very comforting, and we felt it was appropriate based on the fact that we don't believe that he's gone. We believe that he's waiting for us, and we imagine he's just a little bit beyond that rainbow.
Well, we believe fervently that the airwaves reach the heavens, and this radio show host, I couldn't do this show without the strength of the people that we've lost, and Tyler is certainly remembered on a radio show like this. Listen, I want to thank you for calling in. What connected the two of us, of course, was Lori Ansbach. Lori was a guest last week, and Lori's putting together, she's very instrumental in putting together this statewide vigil for Gabriel Myers. You're well familiar with this vigil that's coming up?
Yeah, I've actually been asked to be a guest speaker over there, and basically talk a little bit about my story, which I'm going to share with you tonight. And just basically just come out there for a very worthy cause.
Are you local here? Are you in the Tampa Bay area?
No, I'm actually over in Melbourne, Florida. I'm on the East Coast. I'm going to be traveling over there to be a part of it over there.
Spectacular.
So I'll see you guys here in just a little bit, a couple months here. It's actually April 16th. I'll be out there.
Wasn't all that long ago we lost Tyler, was it?
No, it was only about 15 months ago. One of the worst. I don't know how to say it, but he died Christmas night. Not this last Christmas that passed, but the Christmas before that. It was actually right around midnight that we can imagine that he was making his transformation from his human self into the spirit realm and being embraced into heaven. And basically becoming an angel, I believe with all my heart. That's why God, took him away when he did. But the reason, that there's so much, so much activity going on from us here in Melbourne is because the reason he's no longer with us is he had a sudden unexplained cardiac death due to the ADHD medication they switched him to. And there's just a lot of details that go along with that, but that's what makes his death. It makes it hurt a lot because I feel like if I had known anything about the dangers or about what these medicines really were, heck, if I would have even took one myself, maybe things would have been different. But yeah, that's where we're at right now.
I know you just became aware of the radio show recently, and I'm so appreciative that you called in. I have a problem with people calling these drugs medications. These are drugs. To me, penicillin is a medication. HIV drugs are medications. Asthma drugs are medications. We have a lot of miracle drugs that are medications, and Walter, I just want to share with you. To me, on this radio show, unfortunately, Tyler died from drugs, and I know that as parents, why do we have to learn this after the fact?
I don't understand why people aren't taking a more active role and informing people of the dangers and the risks. I've had conversations with hundreds of people since Tyler's been gone, and you'd be surprised the number of people out there that are just being spoon-fed, all the information from their pediatrician, not even a psychiatrist, a pediatrician that's the one diagnosing these psychiatric medications. There's no therapy, there's no real follow-ups. It's, here's your pills, let me know when you need a refill.
Where do you think, we're supposed to be a logical species. And if you just sit back and think, where did this whole thing about chemical imbalance come from? I mean, we know that it's a drug company marketed term, but as I'm intrigued. I've said it a couple times before. With this age of communication and the internet and instant touch with each other, I think we're dumber than ever.
and I kind of feel like, I had all that information at my fingertips, obviously, because now that he's gone, I've learned so much. But it's a matter of getting the spark inside of somebody to even wonder, maybe these drugs might be dangerous, or maybe the doctor doesn't know everything. I know for me, it was really tough. I was a single dad. He kind of just came to me when he was 6 years old. His mom gotten into some trouble with the law, and it was just, it was a big thing. Okay, I got this full-time responsibility. Okay, let's do it. And it's not too hard. It's not too difficult. But I'll tell you what, it never dawned on me that the doctors might not know about doctor stuff. I'm educated in the IT field. I have a very high IQ. As far as being on the internet and researching, that's something I do for a hobby. It's something I enjoy doing. It just never dawned on me to research this medicine, as they called it, but these drugs that I now found out is what they are. We've done so much research. We've put together a lot of information, and come to find out, this stuff is on the same DEA Schedule II narcotics list as cocaine and methamphetamines. Just that statement alone is so powerful. But if people aren't hearing the message, they'll never understand. They'll never even start. Like I said, get the spark going, get the wheels turning. Wait a minute, what are you talking about? Are these medicines dangerous? Maybe my doctor might be getting kickbacks from the company that he's selling this product. And once that spark is lit, we're hoping it'll increase into a whole wildfire of somebody wanting all the information and digging deeper and finding out things that aren't commonly known, and then being so passionate about it that they can take that message and pass it along. I like you said, with the internet, there's so much information out there. The technology, we're so technology-based, but somebody grabbing your hand and saying, hey, this is real life, this is what's going on, I think would be a lot more, it would be easier for them to take.
Folks, with me is Walter. If you just tuned in, go to tyler-k.com, tyler-k.com. Just a heartbreaking website. Tyler was 8 years old when we lost him 15 months ago. Walter, we're going to take a quick 2-minute break. Can you stick with me?
Absolutely.
All right. Folks, we'll be back in 2 minutes. Prescription Addiction Radio, breaking the silence.
Get away from me, kid, you're bothering me.
And now, more of the Prescription Addiction Radio Show with our host, Larry G.
We're back with Walter, father of Tyler. We lost Tyler 15 months ago. I want to thank Walter for joining me. Walter, going into the last break, you talked about how, if you'd only known, if you'd have done your research. I think that from my personal perspective, I think you're being a little hard on yourself. Weren't you pressured? I mean, you take your child to a doctor, they give you the drug. I'm assuming that Tyler was in school. Did any of the educators say, Walter, your son shouldn't be on these drugs? I mean, did anyone walk up to you that is a professional who was looking out for Tyler?
Actually, it was the opposite. When I first got Tyler into my full-time care, I had a good mind to keep him off the stuff. I didn't know anything bad was happening to his brain or to him. I just didn't like the lack of spark that he had. He used to be so creative and silly and funny and tells little jokes and does little dances, and he's just a very creative little boy. But on the medicine, he was a completely different person. It was one-word answers, yes, no. Couldn't really get anything out of him, and very lethargic and just not, didn't really want to do anything. So I was very livid about, I never wanted him on into stuff in the first place, but he was with his mom full time. She made the decision to go ahead and put him on the stuff. So by the time that I was kind of coming up against the schools about the whole thing. Actually, the first major meeting that we had, only 2 months after he came into my full-time care, I went into a room where it was a classroom, and on one side of the desk was 5 normal-sized chairs for 5 administrating-type people, and there was a kid chair on the other side for me. Well, didn't think nothing of it, just sat down and started talking to them about my son and his progress, since I didn't know too much about what's going on. And come to find out, he's failing kindergarten, and he's already failed it once, and they held him back, and now he's failing a second time. And they're really worried about him. And at the time, I mean, I really wish I could have correlated the fact that the drugs weren't working, obviously, at this point.
Oh,
but
so
I didn't think of that. They just, they said, don't you, they lured me with phrases like, don't you want what's best for your child, and, things like that. Well, it finally came down to them basically threatening me. There was a DCF person, was one of the 5 people I talked to, and she said because his mother and his doctor had approved the treatment for him, that if I started neglecting to give it to him, that I could be held accountable for that.
So we live in a society right now that if a parent doesn't want to give their child drugs, they are facing the DCF. Is that what I just heard you say?
Absolutely. There's actually a case of a lady out in California, went through basically the same thing, had her child taken from her. The child was in a group home, the child was being abused. She petitioned the judges to give her child back. They never did. Well, she finally went to one day to pick her kid up or to talk to him, and put him in the car and drove him to Canada. Well, the FBI put him on the most wanted list and brought him back down with criminal charges. That was in 2003, I believe, and then the documentary that I'm referring to was written in 2005. She had still not seen her child. So not only was her child taken from her, it's basically to the point where she has no idea the well-being. And, in the same situation with me, where they basically had me up against the wall. And they said, look, you do this, or, we can get you for neglect. And take them from you.
I thought that, I've talked to Lori Ansbach, Citizen Commission on Human Rights, and this whole informed consent. But I thought informed consent was the parent had to agree to it. But
yeah, his doctor never talked to me. Once I became full-time father, he never sat down and said, "Hey, look, we got them on this." He never. Honestly, to be completely honest with you, in the last 2 years, I took Tyler to this doctor. He only looked at my son twice, put a stethoscope in his ear once, put a whatever the thing is to the heart, and listened to his lungs one time in 2 years. He was the county-run Medicaid type doctor, which I've basically come to find out are basically kid pill mills. And he's just every time I'd show up, I wouldn't even see him. It would just be another prescription handed to me, and we'll see you later. So anyway, I went back and forth with the schools, and at the very end, it got pretty bad. They were harassing us. They'd call 2 or 3 times a day. They would flag my parents down almost daily. When are you going to get them back on the medicine? When are you going to get them back on the medicine? And at that point, we were agreed to take the medicine, but I had a problem with Medicaid, and so they cut him off for about 3 weeks.
Oh, so he was drug free for a period of time?
No, actually, about 6 months before his death, I had him off of it for 4 months, for the whole summer. And he was in school for about a month, and his teacher called me and said, he's not doing anything. And I said, what do you mean he's not doing anything? He said, he's not doing anything. So I got into Tyler, and I said, hey, listen, okay, you told me you want to get off this stuff. I need you to help me. I need you to try harder. So anyway, I let him know that there's going to be more discipline. I'm going to have to start grounding him, taking things from him. His life won't be as fun if he doesn't just behave in school and do his job. Well, 2 weeks later, I talked to the teacher. She tells me still nothing. And I look over at him, and I'm mad as heck, and I say, Tyler, well, what do you mean you're not doing nothing? You told me. And he said, Dad, I'm trying. I'm really trying. And at that point, it just, it really broke my heart. And I decided to go ahead and put him back on the medicine because I felt like at that point he couldn't function without it. Yeah, and now I come to find out that that's exactly what it does. It causes severe psychological and social dependence. After you are on it for so long, especially in those critical stages. He was only a 4-year-old little baby. He was preschool when they started this chain of drugging that would eventually end his life.
Well, that's what I want to ask you.
When we tried to get him off the medicine, it was like a withdrawal. You would imagine you'd see somebody coming off of drugs. He's even more crazy and hyper. He can't sit still. He's freaking out. because he was, his brain is like, where's this stimulant that I've been, that I need,
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. You said that he was on the drugs for a number of years. We lost him when he was 8. So when you took him off the drugs, did you have any professionals say, well, he's been on drugs for at least 3 years, we should go through a tapering process? Did anybody help guide you to help Tyler move off these drugs?
No, that was never the option. It was just, how do we get more into him? And then, towards the end, like I said, he was off of it for 4 months. Well, when he went to go back on it, the doctor just prescribed him the same extended release 30 milligram highest dosage that he could.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what was
with it, the recommendations for running tests before going on and off the medicines, and knowing that, my son did have a previous heart murmur from birth. He was cleared of that, a few times, I think in 2006. But it's still to the point that, he's off the medicine for so long, they put him right back on the strongest dose that they could possibly give him without running any tests.
What was his dose?
30 milligrams extended release.
Was that Ritalin or Adderall?
Of Adderall, and then they switched them, at the very end, they switched them to Metadate, which I didn't know at the time is actually Ritalin. Come to find out, the Ritalin company, I guess they had some bad business with the name Ritalin. The word got out that stuff's no good. So the marketing geniuses decided to take the same drug, methylphenidate, and break it up into 8 different manufacturers.
Well, those are doses. Those are doses college kids take to stay up all night. And your son was 8 years old.
Absolutely, and it's a very, very serious drug, and it's very very powerful at the same time. And I believe with all my heart that's what led up to his cardiac death.
Walter, am I going to get a chance?
The thing I wanted to tell you about is the runaround that we've had since he's been gone.
Right, Walter. Cedric's going to kick us off the air. Radio time is awfully cruel. Walter, am I going to get a chance to meet you April 16th in Clearwater?
Yeah, I'm going to be out there for Gabriel Myers. Like I said, it's a wonderful cause. We definitely need to get out there. We need to show our support for all these children and all the babies. They're the future, and they're being drugged by their doctors and the psychiatrists and the school boards, and it's just not right.
Walter, we're going to cover this topic every week until April 16th. I want to thank you so much for calling in.